We start the first semi-final in the Yule Cup. It is FoCuS versus Chaemiko. No time to rest here for us in the early morning. Well, it's about noon. FoCuS is staple in the scene, and finally getting this tier 1 tournament achievement that he's been waiting for pretty much his entire career with NEXT in fall. Late fall, early winter of 2020. A guy who's still waiting for his big tier 1 achievement is his opponent Chaemiko. Of course, they're pretty good friends, but if you ask me, there's a certain someone going into this as the favorite, and that is FoCuS, the runner-up of the XeLOS-Rad 2021, the first international flow server tournament. So we'll see. What can he do on NetEase, where we are right now?
Yeah, absolutely. FoCuS has been looking really strong lately. Was trying to steal the Shadow Priest early on. That didn't quite work out. Chaemiko gets it and might be trying to expand. It's something we haven't seen in a while, but always an option on Echo Isles. Stats-wise between the two, by the way, it is perfectly even. Over the last couple of years, the recorded record between them is 50-50. 33 wins to 33 wins. So this one is going to put one of them in the lead. The last two encounters, though, did go to FoCuS in the Rust Brain and the Huya Master Invitational. And now in the early game, FoCuS is going to try to apply as much pressure as he can. Fast expanding human can be very dangerous. Once we get up to tier 2 and mass casters, that's where the ORC can have a lot of problems. And ORC nowadays seems to be the only race unable to fast expand. So FoCuS is going to have to do some damage here to keep this game even.
Whew, that was quite some saves by Chaemiko here. First, he's moving the worker into the gold mine. Then the Shadow Priest was there for healing. Then the worker was parked behind the tower. So a lot of effort invested by FoCuS to just get this one worker. But Chaemiko, if you ask me, he mismanaged his resources. He's only at 170 lumber. How do you want to build an expansion on 170 lumber?
Yeah, he's gonna have to wait a little bit here. It's not quite lining up perfectly. Maybe under a bit of stress with that pressure coming in. But outside of the expansion being a little late, this looks like a pretty solid opening to the game here for Chaemiko. He got the Shadow Priest, which was a big deal. He didn't lose too many peasants. And now he's gonna be able to start constructing the expansion very soon. Look at those saves, though. Over and over with the peasants. Finally goes down. But expansion will be coming up, and of course, Chaemiko went for the strategy, expecting FoCuS to be somewhat greedy and skip the barracks and have no grunts out early. And he was right in that gamble, if you want to call it that. So FoCus's early game pressure potential very low, but he's still trying with his Farseer on the Wolves.
It's of course a big help having that Arcane here. FoCuS on this map has been playing this style quite a bit with the Farseer harass, not only against human but also versus undead. They are with the pretty unusual Firelord combo on tier 2. Wonder if he wants to apply a lot of pressure here as well, because the human expansion at some point seems to be unbreakable. He tried it with Wyvern, he tried it with tier 2, he tried it with Mass Raiders. Maybe he's applying the Firelord here this time. Big lasted goes to Chaemiko once again. Damn, I missed the W3 Champions lasted indicator.
Yeah, of course we're working with the Chinese clean feed here, so our beloved graphics have changed, and also, you know, a bit of overlay missing, but that is the way it's going to be here for this tournament. A little bit of nostalgia, I guess. Wolf scouting the main, seeing there's no Arcane Tower here, so maybe a bit of an opening for Peasant Harass. One goes down there. Some desperately needed experience for the Farseer, who is still far from level 2. Unlike the AM, who's getting closer and closer to 3, and a fast level 3 can always be very helpful.
Yeah, but FoCuS can't stop the pressure right here. More wolves, more lightning bolts into the base, but he's going with the TC and Beastery Shaman. Okay, rather standard, even on this map, but now he finds an opening into Chaemiko's base.
Yeah, and the Farseer there will be taking out more and more peasants. Chaemiko is starting to feel this economic damage that he's suffering. Would love to get level 3 here at the green, but won't quite be able to. The Farseer can resummon the wolves, I think, 2 more times. But Chaemiko did actually get level 3. Oh, I thought it wasn't going to be enough. That was thanks to the wolves, I guess. FoCuS making a slight mistake, giving the experience of the wolves up, and now having those level 2 Watch Elementals out on the map. Very problematic for FoCuS.
Yeah, pretty perfect positioning by Chaemiko as well. He's right next to the Orc base, where we all know the burrows are vulnerable, especially against that level 2 attack from Water Elementals. FoCuS is ready for it, though. Takes out 1 out of 3 Water Elementals immediately. Ready with the repair as well, so he holds this. Of course, this goes into time for the TC. Shaman is falling as well, so there are quite some losses, but he's holding that burrow. And he's harassing at the same time. FoCuS just won't let loose of this main base.
Yeah, this Farseer has been doing a great job. The staff, though! Was it a staff or a TP? I'm not sure. He traps in the Farseer with the AM. That was really cool. And that's going to force the TP now. With the Farseer being level 2, you definitely can't afford to let that one die. And with how many peasants were harassed and killed in the main, Chaemiko's actually teching at the expansion. Very rare to see. He just started a second ago. But that also means he's going to be able to call militia from both bases, which can be very helpful in certain situations.
True that, especially when you're under attack all the time. Now he's fortifying this base with the tower as well. And he's applying more pressure as the Footman and the Shadow Priest are still there. Big last hit. Ooh, not too sure. The observer didn't point it out if a TC got it or not, but kind of looked like it. That with that, it's level 2, okay. So we can be pretty certain that it was the last hit here. Farseer on the prowl once again, once the Shadow Priest. Shaman dangerously low, so it's a wild brawl between them.
Chaemiko's trying to get as much value out of the Waterman as he can, but he's getting stomped and may have to TP out.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the Raider with Ensnare ready. Has to TP out, kills off one Shaman at least, and is trying to slow down the TC creeping, slow down the counter expansion aspirations for FoCuS, because that's normally what we should expect. But if he goes for a counter expansion now, that might just be too late. Chaemiko already 1,200 gold. Once he's tier 2 and he's got his tier 2 buildings up, he's going to be able to pump up to 70 so fast.
Yeah, that's always the problem of Echo Isle's expansions on the human side. 4 orcs, not going for my beloved triple sanctuary, unfortunately, but adding some raiders as well. There's still no tower here. Now we got Stomp as well, so no shockwave for mass building lame. Of course, for that you need double beastery as well. So he has shamans here, but a couple of these shamans fell, and so they can't get the mana, so this might be a little problematic for FoCuS down the road.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to get a few more. And you know, in those small brawls, Shaman are definitely very good. But the bigger the armies get, if we get to 70 and plus, you would like to have walkers at some point. Unless there is breakers in the late game. You know, it's still mostly true that the big breaker army is very tough for Orc to deal with. Every now and then nowadays we see Headhunter into Torrent play, and that works out well. Torrent's pretty good against breakers, in case you guys didn't know. But from that, I believe FoCuS is certainly very far away. Chaemiko's trying to find some cancels. Cheekily with a Water Elemental solo. Doesn't quite get that. He couldn't move out with the rest of the army because the AM lost the TP, but he used the Water Elemental to be able to get back to the shop, get a new TP, get a healed scroll, and get an invul potion. Just a single Water Elemental here, smartly used by Chaemiko, making sure he gets the items he needs.
Doesn't result in a kill though, so FoCuS is catching up. Still, it feels like his movement is very afraid of moving out too far. He would love to creep the TC, would love to start the mercenary camp, but it's all not possible because Chaemiko is just sharking around, trying to find new angles to attack. Just like this, with the Footman in the bottom left, with the main army in the bottom and the upper left, and the Archmages are staffing back with more Water Elementals, and this Great Hall is not finished, looks quite finished, but the Crane is still working with that little peon inside, and that will result in a kill, finally. Chaemiko always one step ahead.
Yeah, nice play by Chaemiko, gets the cancel here, and FoCuS making a bit of a mistake with the reaction. When you see 3 footies and an AM heading to your main, you don't have to send your entire army there. You didn't respect the staff play. Oof, and almost dies for it though. 16 HP, gets away just barely.
Now we got tier 2 finished, and FoCuS is on the opposite side of the map, taking a step back, creeping up the TC, but yeah, feels like he's in almost an all-in situation here. Needs to push soon, but with what? Like 5 melee units, a couple of casters, and the more time he gives Chaemiko, the more ready he will be. And you look at this, man. The queues are huge in the Sanctums.
Yeah, we're gonna be up to that 70 supply death ball here very soon. FoCuS now in a very tough position. What is he going to do from here? Pillage, Raider Lame seems to be the best option, but on this map, there is no Zeppelin, so you can't abuse the Zeppelin drop into the back of the base, stuff like that. Chaemiko's lumber is very low, but he's got 3 upgrades queued, and he's staying on tier 2, so he doesn't even need that much lumber. And yet the time is ticking. FoCuS is about to get a bomb explode in his face.
Kodo is coming now. Maybe that can defuse the bomb, but I'm not too sure. The army looks really good for Chaemiko. Numbers are rising, upgrades are rising, items look good. FoCuS is making it to the shop, and FoCuS again with a passive approach. With shop control, he might have some time. Can he just sit on this expansion and trying to hold it? I think the time for that is over.
I guess he's hoping that Chaemiko's macro is a little bit off, that he's going to have more time. Or just play hit and run and buy time for the expansion. But he's also not in the best position on the map right now to threaten those run buys. Also love the farm wall, by the way, by Chaemiko. He's trying to bolster up his keep a little bit, bolster up the town hall in the main. Honestly, the town hall in the main might be the big vulnerability. As Chaemiko keeps on creeping. He's got the big army, he's got the good upgrades. Only thing he's missing now is some better hero levels.
Level 4. That's a pretty good one. Just needs level 3 Mountain King and then he's good to go. Only 3 maps, of course, in the semi-final. Rather unusual, but makes every map a little more important than it already was. 75 supply. The human death ball seems ready.
Gonna get some heal pots. No TP. Mana potion, double ivory. Alright, this is the push. As more upgrades are finishing, the big tier 2 force is running across the map. Not too many breakers yet. It's 3 of them or 4 of them. So the TC Storm could still connect well. There's a lot of weight on the TC's shoulders. If FoCuS somehow deflects this attack and holds his expansion, it's going to be thanks to the TC Storm.
Yeah, Hero FoCuS should be the name of the game. But can he reach in the back position? Chaemiko's repositioning his army already. Archmage far in the back. Mountain King and Breakers up front. That's exactly what how it's supposed to be. There's an Invul. There's a Ring of Regen. That's a big tanky MK. Even though not level 3. So let's see where this push goes. With the Ivory Towers, it goes for the Kodo right away. Lightning Shield TC catches a couple of units. Gets a decent connection, but certainly needs more. Level 4, as we said, he's the carry. The FoCuS certainly abandoned for the majority. That was a wonderful stop in the echo center of the backline, but he counters it with the Scroll of Protection and the Scroll of Healing. So Chaemiko's numbers still very, very good. Still sitting at 73 supply. The Lightning Shield, the TC, it's trying to do as much as possible. But I guess there's one more mana potion, not too sure. FoCuS in trouble getting nuked by the human army, and that was level 3. That FoCuS won't come back in the next couple of seconds. A couple of casters are going down as well. The backline is looking pretty hurt, but the priests are taking care of it. The few that are left, actually. And there's not much left for FoCuS. He knows it. GG's out. And that is game for the human.
Yeah, beautiful game by Chaemiko. Super clean. He studied FoCuS's replays. He knew that FoCuS oftentimes tries to rely on getting the Shadow Priest and also oftentimes tries to skip the barracks. He punishes both by seeing the Shadow Priest away and going for the fast expansion play against the Orc. Can't do much if he doesn't have grunts early. So FoCuS sort of outsmarted. And with this format where players have such a long time to prepare for one single match for certain maps with certain creep routes, sometimes FoCuS isn't the most detailed in his approach. And I think Chaemiko was more so detailed and could punish it well. Fast expansion, not often seen anymore nowadays, but if it gets off to a good start and the big death ball hits, and of course the Orc was prevented from counter-expanding, as also Chaemiko did so well, then it can still be very strong.
And okay, that is map number 1. That is now FoCuS's pick. We see it here, Turtle Rock, obviously. An Orc map that they love. Is this Blade Master territory then? Blade Masters love the shop.
Shop, claws, and also red camp snipes can be done pretty easily here. But Blade Master has a big problem in the late game. He can turn into a massive liability if he just gets slowed and clapped over and over. So I would expect a Farseer here still. Interesting to me that Turtle Rock is still in the pool because, you know, normally it's Twisted Meadows in the other tournaments. Twisted Meadows has now here been replaced with Turtle Rock. And Orcs, humans normally veto TM all the time, but Chaemiko vetoes AZ and Concealed Hill instead, which I find very interesting. So he finds Turtle Rock more playable than AZ and Concealed, so he must have a plan. What that is, I'm curious, but I'm certainly sure that it's not going to be a fast expansion.
Okay, yeah, that would be quite something. The predictions are close, and I'll open the new one. Turtle Rock is map number 2. I wouldn't be too surprised, actually, to see some sort of rush by Chaemiko. He's known to be the Firelord tower pusher among all the humans. Is a possibility. We shouldn't rule that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Every now and again, we still see it. I think the last big example of that was Fortitude and WGL. It is a rare sight, but always something you have to keep in mind. On a 4-player map with 2 different spawns where the opponent might be a little bit awkward to get the right read. Also, the tavern not too close to the opponent's base, but it is still always an option. We're starting off on Turtle Rock with FoCuS in the top left, Chaemiko in the bottom left, spawning on the same lane, and we see the Farseer as the first hero. No Blade Master risk. FoCuS going to rely again on the intelligence hero, and so is Chaemiko with the AM. Chaemiko here on this map much more likely to be playing one base, and one base, 2 farm tech into rifles is something that Chaemiko has proven to be very strong in the past.
Very strong is our community as well. We got 2 subs already. Luke Legendary with the tier 1 sub, 8 month. Hey guys, thanks for your hard work and this great entertainment. Glad you enjoy it. And Remo, an old friend of ours, is subscribing as well. Spookudel das 13 is coming in with his prime sub.
Damn, dude, that brings me back to
ESL
Hamburg WC3R casting from his home when we had a great time, good games, and also amazing hot dog pizza.
And broke his couch.
And locked the cat inside, so unfortunately did a little doozy there. But yeah, good times.
Good times in Bergedorf, indeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, what the hell is Chaemiko doing? He's going to the red spot.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. No way.
Are you kidding me? 2 Footman Water Elemental?
If he misses the surround, he loses
horrible.
the game instantly.
Come on, it's... Oh!
Alright. GG, go next.
Well, brave attempt. Don't tell me you can still do this somehow. He's trying to salvage this horrible situation. There's no defense in his base. The Farseer's already close. Chaemiko is a little lucky even that FoCuS is doing a little pit stop at the green. Oh, but the shockwaves. Ogres and Orcs align. Archmage already, like, almost dead. Cloak of Flames, okay.
Cloak of Flames.
Decent for the MK, but... Oh! So close to dying here. If the Farseer sees him, the heal rune. Whoo. But yeah, good luck with this game.
Around though, I guess this is kind of good. But if you miss it, ouch.
Cool approach by Chaemiko, but we definitely see why we don't see that more often. Oh, the wolves are hungry.
Yeah, that's what we call a rough one.
Yo.
Chaemiko going for a cheeky play. Leaving Turtle Rock in the pool, having a very specific game plan early. He did get level 2, but boy oh boy is that a heavy punish. He lost like 5 peasants and a footy, AM half dead. Tech around 2 minutes later than the Orcs. Yeah, not good.
Yeah, if this creep route was his reason to not veto TR, maybe overthink that decision. It's once again a very brutal game for Chaemiko's early game. He is teching already, but no level 3, can't do any counter pressure, any big counter pressure. Trying to steal experience, and the Chain Lightning gets the last hit. A wonderful game for FoCuS.
Yeah, can perhaps even pick off a few more footmen here. The AM is still hurt, so he can't be too aggressive, even if he was to magically get level 3, which also he won't be able to do. Kind of surprised he's not selling the Cloak of Flames with, I don't know, how every help he could use here. But I guess later on for the MK, it really is very nice. But it's gonna be a while until we see the little dwarf.
Ooh, that is... Yeah, I don't know. He needs to creep so hard with the MK until level 5 almost. But you know what? Scratch that. GG 1-1. That series is tied.
Yeah. You know, he grabbed into his reach into his bag of tricks, and sometimes you come up golden and it's wonderful, it works out. Sometimes it doesn't work out so well.
You win some, you lose some.
You win some, you lose some. That's true. You miss every shot you don't take, you know, as Jordan said. If you get that surround though on the Ogre right away, I guess this is pretty good. You get the kill quickly with the militia, and then you continue creeping. Maybe you go for the Berserker next, and then you kill the Magi, and then you heal everything up, and you haven't lost 2 peasants and a footy by then. But yeah, if you miss it, It's a little rough. I would never go for that opening because I know I would have too much anxiety. I would miss that surround every time. But of course, Chaemiko can usually trust in his control, in his early game execution. His blocks, his surrounds are insane. But even he sometimes misses. Even he is a mortal man. That brings us to a third deciding map, and that one is going to be Northern Isles.
Northern Isles, yeah. And that is pretty similar to Echo Isles, I would say. Expansion possibility definitely given for Chaemiko. If that's the case, FoCuS needs to break it. On Northern Isles, we've seen much more success with very aggressive orc play. So I wonder if Chaemiko is going for the expansion or not. He has to set the pace of this game.
Yeah, if we were to see it there, I imagine FoCuS would be trying to be very aggressive there. We've seen Panda plays before. We have seen Mass Raider plays before. Importantly, Northern Isles, there's not going to be a Shadow Priest, which was a big, big help for Chaemiko and Echo. But here now, without mercenaries, it's going to look a little different as we go to the frigid lands of Northern.
Looks like Hamburg, this very map.
Dude, it's so much snow outside for you as well.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's snowing all the time, just like here on Northern Isles, so I feel very much at home at this map, just like a lot of undeads these days do. How fitting it is. So, who's gonna go into the grand final? Is it FoCuS once again, just like in Xelos Red, or will Chaemiko make a big splash just 1 month away from DreamHack Asia Finals when it is about $55,000, March 4 to March 7. Mark that in your calendar, the Warcraft 3 festivities. We got Chaemiko in the blue in the bottom left. We got FoCuS in the upper right as, of course, the orc. And I'm pretty sure he will not sway away from the Farseer.
Yeah, would be outrageous to see a Blade Master here. Farseer certainly has to be the call. Question as always, is the orc gonna skip the barracks early or not? Oftentimes, I would see most of the time nowadays, we do see the skip barracks for a faster tech and faster TC and so on. But here now FoCuS is going for the racks. That is probably partly because he wants to make sure if an expansion should be coming up, he wants to be able to pressure it. But also, if there's no expansion, the grunt early still helps to keep a lot of angst on the Archmage, because he's only going to get level 1.7 from the first camp, and simply reaching level 2 for the human here can be a big headache early on Northern Isles.
All right, let's see if we have some medicine against that early with a special creep route. Taught yesterday, for example, creep 2 spots at the same time. That was a nice approach, but of course in a very, very different matchup. So where do we go? Green? Expansion? Looks like we have a tame start. That's exactly what we get. FoCuS, as always, rushing over, tier 2. Pretty similar builds every match.
And Chaemiko switching it up now. What I mentioned earlier, the 2-farm rifle play, seems to be the call here. With only 3 militia, you can creep the green right away and save lumber, 2-farm, tech quickly, and then normally go into blacksmith, more farms, and rifleman. Chaemiko very strong with that style. His rifle control outstanding. Has the danger of being susceptible to TC late game, unlike breakers. But if controlled well, if hitting the power spikes is accomplished, then can still be pretty good. And here comes the Farseer, trying to do as much damage as he can. Chaemiko left an opening into the base so that his AM could retreat and is minimizing all losses. You want to make sure you don't take too much damage on the footies because you're going to have only very few footmen. Most of the time you stay on 3, maybe 4 footmen, and then you go into rifles. So if these footmen drop low HP early, you're not going to be able to do much for quite some time.
Yeah, and FoCuS doesn't want to go into the base, doesn't want to dive for the goes for the green to prevent that set level 3. And yeah, power spikes is the name of the game on Northern Isles especially. First, it's FoCuS applying a lot of pressure onto Chaemiko, then Chaemiko is trying to catch up. Rifles will certainly help with that, but on the other side, it's FoCuS trying to level up the TC in the meantime. Then it's Chaemiko trying to level up the Mountain King, and then in the late game, it's oftentimes Breakers and MK dominating. So who's gonna hit these timings better will probably advance to the grand final.
FoCuS steals the query pair outside the base here, which is a big deal. Stealing that Flesh Eater Murloc away means that Chaemiko cannot get level 2 now easily, even if he gets the other creep. This is one of the big benefits of having that grunt out early. It's easier for you to get the Murloc, and that is a big deal in the early game. AM summons the next Watch Elemental, and now he's going to be out of mana for a really long time, which the AM isn't normally used to, as usually he gets level 2 fast. This game is going to be different, and Chaemiko is going to have to react accordingly, realizing how low his mana is going to be. He's under pressure, FoCuS is playing this well, and FoCuS is teching up, and it's going to have his TC out still.
Yeah, we're blasting through the series so far, 25 minutes in, and already tough decisions here. The tech is almost done, and it's time to creep up the MK. It's pretty much the fastest human tech, so he's not going to be that far behind. But not having level 2 is a huge issue, and that's the big win for FoCuS. That was his #1 objective in the early game. Ideally, do a little damage to the economy. Ideally, delay the tech by a second or two. But preventing Brilliance Aura is wonderful.
Ambitious creep here by FoCuS, going for the middle Merchant. This is, I feel like, a new orc favorite thing to do nowadays. The first nighttime, try to creep something greedy, like a Merc Camp on maps like Twisted, or like the big Merchant here on this map. Ideally, you want to be scouting for that, but it's not that easy, especially with this human strategy, where you don't have Peasant out on the map, where you have very few Footmen only, where you can't spam so easily those Watch Elementals. So FoCuS realizing it's going to be hard for Chaemiko to properly scout during this nighttime. And he takes advantage of that, gets the big creep camp, and gets the Scourge Bone Chimes, which is going to be quite nice later for the grunts and the Ts.
Exactly. It might lead to a little bit more survivability. FoCuS miscalculating the Chain Lightning quite a bit, so Archmage and Watch Elemental are able to scare him away. Early Beastery, early Warmill, going into Kodos on the other side. Yep, we were right. Rifle Casters with the #1 objective now to prevent any kind of expansion by the Orc, while leveling up to level 3.
Chaemiko creeping here in the middle with the MK. Oftentimes we see the MK creeping more passively, going for the Tuskar camp first, the expansion after, creeping on his side of the map. But here now Chaemiko using his AM and the Watch Elementals to go for the contested XP and items in the middle. He gets the Ankh of Reincarnation, which is an okay item. It's not quite the Mana Stone, but it will help the MK to survive, which is going to be helpful because he is going to be pretty much the only frontliner after these footies will have gone down, which will be happening pretty soon. Now in the north, we have the TC creeping, and the Farce here is on the lookout, trying to find the opponent and get some scouting in.
Little too late for the next Chain Lightning. Can't really get anything. Contested XP, Remo. A new term here in the Warcraft casts. I like it. I like it. And we get the rifles, we get the casters. Chaemiko at 44. Levels are quite okay by now, but I wonder for how long he can creep, because FoCuS is on the warpath once again.
And the classic play for Orc is to try to get level 3 MK TC fast, or at least level 2 and some. Expand behind, get the first heal scroll, and then go for an attack. But we don't have daytime yet. Upon daytime, there is going to be the heal scroll becoming available, so it's going to be a little while longer, a few more seconds. FoCuS sees the opponent creeping in the south and realizes he can take the valuable Tuskar camp away from the Mountain King. This is a very smart creep steal, because the MK normally wants to creep very safely until he's level 3. Before level 3, the power level of the hero pretty low, so FoCuS taking this camp away definitely smart. But one big thing that the Orcs usually try to get to early in the mid-game is an expansion. FoCuS, we see no expansion here from him, which is interesting.
Not even trying to. He crapped it, but I don't see a red dot at the gold mine, so as you said, he's not trying. There's a scout by Chaemiko to make sure that he's not under pressure to move north and kill this. Both rely on one base, both rely on their mid to late game armies. Still have to know what the TC's item was. I don't think we saw that, but on the right hand side of the map, there's a lot to creep for FoCuS still. You got the Lamp, you got the Tuskas, you got the Red. And on the other side, as you said, FoCuS contested that Tuskar camp. That's gone. So this might lead to a high level TC, higher level than the Mountain King.
Yeah, and that might be the game plan here behind the strategy by FoCuS. Purposefully not expanding, not trying to expand. When the human is playing rifles, he's going to have a very strong timing at 50, maybe 60 supply, with some upgrades, mana pots, maybe heal scrolls, where the Orc oftentimes can have trouble fighting up against the rifles at that point. But if the game extends beyond 50 supply, if there's no push happening, if you're just creeping up the map and soaking up all the experience, the TC might get level 5. And the TC level 5 oftentimes can solo win you a game against Riflemen. So FoCuS is reducing the risk of falling behind by not expanding, and willingly is going into one base, delaying the game, just creeping, playing passively. Chaemiko here should perhaps assess the situation and now start to transition into breakers.
Red spot crap, Chaemiko's MK becomes half a TC with the endurance aura. Movement speed, always nice to have, especially against Purge when you're slowed down already. No level 4 TC yet. Must be close to level 3 fast here as he's creeping with him. Does he have the time to creep everything? This is a high level Mountain King very soon as he creeps him solo. Even using the clap to accelerate everything. This is a lot of min-maxing by Chaemiko. Also, of course, investments. But he had full mana, so why not use the clap? Why not creep this a little faster?
Yeah, MK level 4, in fact, before the TC. Level 5 on those heroes, both absolutely amazing. As we've seen many times before, TC does now get 4, the Farseer gets 3, which is big level ups.
Yeah.
TC has a lot of tankiness. 1225 HP, he even has evasion, so he is going to be very, very tanky in that front line, but not any mana support, so not that many stomps probably to come out once we have the first big fight starting, which is not happening yet though. Still FoCuS playing passively, creeping up the map, tries to level up his TC as much as he can, as he finally is attempting to expand now, which again, Chaemiko can't always scout too easily.
Chaemiko is close though. What do you do as FoCuS now? Are you contesting this? He doesn't really know. He's sending something to the marketplace. Guess what? They mirror each other's strategy as Chaemiko is expanding in the upper left. So let's go for some whack-a-mole here.
Alright, this is going to be interesting. This game could very much be about base elimination, harass, economy damage, and so on, and scouting. And scouting for the Orc in this type of scenario is always a little bit easier. With the Wolves, you can scout very, very well. But Chaemiko also made sure he was keeping tabs with his Footmen. Footmen from the early game, not so good at fighting anymore, but certainly good for scouting. So both expansions are going to get cancelled. And this game still having a pretty slow pace. We still haven't seen that big fight yet.
We got a new sub though. Thank you, Lindfra. 9 months already. Have a great Tuesday casting, guys. We certainly do. Law Light vs 120 and the grand final still coming up. As FoCuS is getting ready for another attack. That's an easy cancel. And there's another red... was there an Invo potion?
He was Invis. They was casting. But FoCuS is taking out a couple of peasants, which can be a big deal. That's going to mean that Chaemiko's lumber economy is going to be very low, which is going to make expanding again very, very difficult. FoCuS threatening a bit of damage here towards the main, may also have pillage at this point, but he doesn't feel comfortable fighting yet. 60 supply for Chaemiko, and now the breaker transition is starting to come in.
FoCuS still wants to buy time for that expansion. TP's out rather early. MK Stormbolt not strong enough to kill that Kodo. A little bit of a waste with the Thunderclap. There was a ward by FoCuS, right? To see the MK?
Oh yeah, true. Was that a Witch Doctor ward or a sentry?
I think a sentry.
A Witch Doctor would be a nice idea though. It's pretty cheap. Just add one in, but maybe he doesn't have the supply open right now because FoCuS is staying in no upkeep. He's getting much more gold than Chaemiko. Chaemiko in upkeep this whole time, and FoCuS is playing an evasive game. Of course, the Orc with a level 2 endurance aura is going to be more mobile across the map, although Chaemiko has a bit of a help himself with the Ancient Django that he found earlier. Chaemiko would love to force a fight right now. He knows he would probably be favored in that one, but FoCuS is not going to do him the favor.
Yeah, 60 supply plus mana potion, heal scroll, invo potion, Ankh, probably a TP on the Archmage. So FoCuS is not really ready to fight the Wolves, who get stolen now, thanks to control magic of the breakers. And again, another expansion shut down. Chaemiko is moving to the bottom right, but I think it's just a scout. Otherwise, it would be more units here. Got another sub. Thank you, Bata. Nice as always. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoy it. So now there's a little bit of a better scouting opportunity for Chaemiko with the Wolves.
Yeah, it's actually very nice. And now FoCuS is going to have to think twice about using those to scout. Interesting game situation now. Neither player has an expansion. There's no more creeps on the map, so you have to be very tactical with your movement. What is the next most effective thing you can do? How can you trick your opponent? How can you get an economic edge? FoCuS was able to stay in no upkeep for a long time, but he has started producing now. He has his own big army, and both these forces could suffer from the strength hero abilities. Stomp versus Thunderclap. However, Chaemiko is getting more and more breakers, and if those are well positioned, the TC is going to have a tough time.
Yeah, usually you want to rush them and do not go for rifleman here. But now he has the best of both worlds, has the piercing damage, has the blockers in front. FoCuS needs excellent positioning, but he's also countering the breakers already with more and more Kodo beasts in this MK. Is not detected here. Clap engagement, okay. Little brave. Chaemiko, should you engage into this? Not 100% sure. Positioning on the breakers seems to be good. Next Thunderclap comes in. FoCuS, how many units do you have? That Stomp, not perfect, to be honest. TC dropping down to 50%. Kodos get a snack. And Chaemiko is on the retreat here after losing a couple of units. Chain Lightning Stomp combo. Big Invo Potion on the TC is left as well. Wonderful heal scroll by Chaemiko on the other side to keep all these militia alive. Gotta be careful with that Archmage. Also down to 50%. And here we see the impact of Clap for the first time. Real big on the Grunts, but only Grunts. Archmage in trouble once again. He wants that kill and he gets it. Oh no, no TP used on the Archmage. That might be the end for the human here. FoCuS, will it be back-to-back finals? Oh, he had the Ankh, of course he did. So no TP necessary, but he was out for a little bit. FoCuS stomping forward. Now with level 5 as well. Level 4 on the TC, on the Farseer, excuse me. There seems to be some mana very, very soon. And I guess if the next hero falls, then this game is over. No Ankh anymore. Chaemiko's got to get out. Level 4 helps him for a tiny little bit. And that's the TP Stomp. Not ready yet, apparently. But FoCuS smashes this fight. And I can only imagine that there's a couple of breakers in the Kodos.
Yeah, great fight there by FoCuS. As you mentioned, the breakers coming in, or the Kodos coming in time against the breakers, were able to get off a few devours, and Chaemiko didn't quite get to the critical mass of breakers yet. He only had like 5, maybe 6, and if 3 of those get devoured, suddenly you're left with only very little. If you get to 8, 9, maybe 10 breakers, that is where the Orc really has big problems. Did Chaemiko engage too early? Maybe. He didn't really have to fight right there. He could have just sit back, passively macro up to 80 on one base, because there was no expansion yet, but Chaemiko decided to go for the fight and definitely lost that fight, and he's far behind now. And Chaemiko now probably knows if he doesn't get a good second wave of attack, there's just going to be an expansion coming up for FoCuS and a bigger and bigger lead for the Orc. But now we have the level 5 TC and the level 4 Farseer. It's not going to be easy for Chaemiko.
Chaemiko with an invis block. Pretty nice move here, but of course only gets him 1 kill. He certainly needs more. 58 supplies, still lots of misses here on this TC. It's a Hail Mary play by Chaemiko that didn't work out for the Chiefs too much this Sunday, and looks like it's not working out for Chaemiko as well, as the breakers are falling now. Level 5 on the Mountain King as well. Clap is very, very powerful, but mana is limited. Of course, Chain Lightning is rattling through. There's more, and there's a shop to back this up. FoCuS only at 44 though. This was
MK might be making the difference. The Clap coming in time after time. Chain Lightning as well. Next Stomp, if it connects, could be massive. TC at 80 mana right now. Needs a little bit more mana reach. In a couple more seconds, he's going to have the next Stomp as well. Clap again to slow down the Orc. But the MK now officially out of mana. TC with the Invul misclicked, I believe. There was no need for that one.
Big Invul, exactly. Was he so scared of a Stormbolt? I don't think so. Only level 2. And maybe that is working. Gets the Kodo as well. The Grunt is about to fall. Breaker is back for a second. Stomp is massive. Probably gonna get him a double kill, which it is. He's saving a lot of mana on these Shamans. Not going for the Lightning Shield at all. Stomp again on this Archmage. And all 5 units that might win him the game here. That's a lot of pickup potential. TC is blocking a little bit. MK is cleaning house in the back. It's a very neck and neck fight. Who's gonna get out on top? Do we have a Chain Lightning coming? Do we have a Chain Lightning coming? It looks like it. TC versus MK. The never-ending battle. There's a Chain Lightning, but also an Invul. And mind you, FoCuS already used this one! And he passes an item, but it doesn't work anymore. A split second too late. The stun duration too long. And the Chaemiko Hail Mary is actually working. Grand final for the human.
Dude, it looked like FoCuS had it there. That first fight, the first big fight went to him, but strong comeback by Chaemiko. Knew he had to fight back after that disadvantage, and the level 5 MK doing a great job. So many units dying, So many units close to death. Great micro between the two. And one micro mistake. That invul potion completely wasted. Cost FoCuS the game, at least in part.
Yeah, for sure. Whew, wasn't ready for that final push in the end. Maybe a little bit too greedy as well. Should he go up and upkeep a little earlier, then he probably wins the fight. But absolutely outstanding. Never giving up was Chaemiko, and put all eggs in one basket, and that basket absolutely worked. Next up, second semifinal. It's a little bit of a dream semifinal. 2 ELL members, 2 DreamHack champions. It is Lawlight versus 120. You don't go anywhere. Tell your friends who's going to face Chaemiko in the grand final.